What is going on, Zach? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Well, good, because the entire time we were practicing to get ready for the show, I didn't actually have the proper mic put into place.
Yeah,
but
you sound different than when we were pre-show.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. Hey, happy Thursday here. Welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Throwback Thursday, almost Friday, whatever you want to consider it. We got a jam-packed show for you guys. We got a lot of baseball to talk. The stove is heating up. We will get into some of the conversations. What are you looking at? Did I do something?
No, I was just saying, it's heating up.
Oh, you kind of gave a look like we're trying to solve a mystery.
Oh, no. I guess we're trying to solve the mystery of the MLB offseason.
Wow, look at you right there.
I try.
You do try. Look at that, back and forth. But the other part that we're trying to then figure out, well, I guess we're not figuring out, but I guess we want to see if it's going to come to fruition, is what Mike Elias said to the media yesterday as we were finishing up the show. We're going to touch on that. John Morosi had updates on a couple of the premier players, but specifically probably the outfield jewel that is Kyle Tucker. What is early interest from him? It is week 11 kicking off tonight, Thursday night. Bolly's going to have his best bet of the night. And we'll talk about what it means for the Ravens going to play a Cleveland Browns team that actually has given them fits even when the Browns have stunk up the joint. That's just how historically it's been. But it looks like Lamar Jackson is going to be A-OK. That and a whole lot more, because we're going to start off the show with two topics that when we're saying let's get down to business, well, it's about the business of sports that we want to talk to you about. Before we get into talking about all that, I got to shout out our friends over at Merit Clubs right now, and over and under 3 seconds as always, Zach.
Always.
Boom.
I'm learning.
How about that? Shout out Merit Clubs, by the way. And if you are looking to get a start or an early start on 2026, well, look no further than the early Black Friday sale at Merit. Knowing you're going to be supported by a vibrant community dedicated to your well-being, indulge in seasonal celebrations, then work off those extra calories at Merit with Merit. Visit meritclubs.com to take advantage of $1 enrollment during their early Black Friday sale. How do you spell $1, Zach?
MERRITT.
And when I move, you
1,
move.
2, 3. Just like that.
Just like that. And also, they do offer 3 days of a free pass. If you are interested in just trying out and you don't want to sign up, but $1 enrollment sounds pretty damn good to me. Appreciate our friends over at Merit Club. And I need to get down to business, but part of doing business is shouting out some of our channel members. Joe, 19 months.
Thank you,
in
Joe.
This economy. How about that? Closer to the new emoji. I'm curious, actually, where that stands.
I think it's Rocco, unfortunately, for people.
That's tough.
That's a tough.
That's brutal. Why would we want that?
I didn't think in our head we were like, 2 years away. That's so long. And now it's happening. So unfortunate for the people, but you're gonna have to put up with it.
We are. And you know what? Thank you, VT Raven, for putting up with us. Back to being a member. Hey, how you doing?
Appreciate you.
Beautiful. We didn't have a pre-show Rip Before Dark. We will have a little after show Rip After Dark show. I don't know exactly how to categorize that, but we will. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Now let's get down to business, Zach. And 2 topics that I wanted to open up with, since we're talking the business. It's both with the NFL and MLB. Let's start with MLB, because the San Diego Padres, there's been conversations out there of, maybe they're going to trade. They're going to try to shed some contracts. Well, now it kind of is making sense, because Bob Nightingale just reported over the last 24 hours that the Seidler family is announcing they are starting the formal process to explore strategic options for the San Diego Padres, including a potential sale of the franchise. And the decision follows months of careful consideration and consultation with trusted advisors. So, Zach, why is that interesting? Well, typically when there's ownership issues or ownership change, especially with a franchise that has a lot of money on the books as a business, one potential way is you're going to try to shed some money. And this is interesting because the Padres, dude, I think they are going to compete next year. They can if they don't change anything in their roster, but they do have a lot of money on the books with just like 4 guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they are in such an unfortunate position of the talent is there. And when you think about, okay, who can compete? What guys, what teams can go out there and go toe to toe with the big bad Dodgers? Like it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, and one of the teams up there, you go, the Padres. But now suddenly it's not because, they've got a bunch of free agents that might have to leave or all this. It's guys under contract that we don't know now if they have the money to pay. And it has led to a lot of rumors. The biggest one being, hey, maybe the easiest contract to move at this moment is Fernando Tatis. But now you're in that weird spot of the Padres of the guy you probably least want to move is Fernando Tatis. Opens up a can of worms of, okay, are you now, do the Padres throw in a prospect, a decent prospect, and Xander Bogaerts to send to a team to shed some cap or shed some salary? It's going to get creative. And honestly, this is probably one of the bigger things to keep an eye on throughout the offseason, because if they truly feel like they cannot pay all of these guys and then put together a good team around them, there might be a fire sale in San Diego, which I do not think a lot of people were really prepared for. I mean, you have all the jokes of, how do you pay all these guys? Unfortunately, it is becoming a quick reality for the Padres. So we'll see what happens. I'll put this out there right now because I know everyone. I've seen it on Twitter 100 times. As much as I would love Manny Machado back in Baltimore, I do not think that is a guy that the Padres are going to be moving.
No, I do not, especially the way he loves being out there. I think the time has come and gone for Manny to go anywhere else. I think he's become a staple there. I'm going to pull up this list real quickly because I do find this fascinating on some levels here of contracts. I don't know if this is the current one because I don't think it. Oh yeah, it doubles up with Jackson Merrill. Who am I kidding? I want to show you this list real quickly. And this is what we're talking about of money invested. And always you take the under here at the Ryan Ripken Show. Under. We're going to bear with me. We need to get one of those signs, that the cat that's holding on to like a clothing line.
Yeah.
And it's saying like, hang in there. We need one of those. Where is it? Boom. There it is. Under 3 seconds.
As always.
So right there. Bam. So look at that. Manny Machado's contract ends in 2033. The value, $350 million, $31 million a year. Fernando Tatis Jr., $24 million a year through 2034. Bogaerts, $25 million a year. Jackson Merrill, $15 million a year. Yu Darvish, $18 million. Joe Musgrove, $20 million. Zach, my math's not going to be perfect here, but if I'm getting all that together, okay. So in the first 3 players, that's over $81 million. Okay. The next 2 combine that is $104 million. And then $124 million.
Yeah. It's
for 5 players. 6 players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really because the contracts that you're going to have moving forward, but the value, if you look at it, this is easier to put together. Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, that alone right there, Zach, is pushing you towards a bill.
Yeah.
And that is where this conversation's going when you're talking about a new ownership coming in. That's a lot of money that you have left on the books to pay guys.
Yeah, $970 million between two. It's quick math. It's what we
and you
do.
know what number just looks so damn good, and you're just like, damn, he's not in Baltimore. Ramon Laureano's contract is just.
I know. And I will say this. I know everyone wants the fire sale, bring Ramon back. Unfortunately, Ramon is like the golden child in San Diego right now because they're like, he's good and he's cheap right now. Like they are not getting rid of Ramon Laureano because they need him for that $4 million. I guess this year it'll go up to 6.5, but that's a steal for especially in the the constricted room that they are in salary wise. That is very important to them. But I mean, it's so crazy to look at, a guy like Jackson Merrill. Obviously it was big that they got ahead of him, but that continues to kind of go up as the years go by. Jake Cronenworth, it looked like a great deal in 23 or 24, but as the years are going on, and Cronenworth I think is a good player, but he starts to get up there. Like they have a lot of guys that, we always joke about when teams give out big contracts, yeah, it's a big deal. And probably at the end of it, they're going to be liabilities just because they're getting older. Like you're paying for the first half of the contract, hoping that they give you that production then, and then you eat the last parts. Unfortunately for the Padres, we've officially hit that. And we're not even really on the back end of these contracts yet. And it's already a problem. I mean, Bogarts is signed through 2033, but Fernando Tatis 2034, Machado 33, Merrill 35. Obviously, he's on the cheaper end of that. Cronenworth 2030. Like, it's not like these contracts are coming off the books anytime soon.
No, and it's just they're long deals. And you know what? Shout out if you're a Padres fan. It's been a fun process, minus maybe the year where you went in for Soto and you expected more the next year and it didn't happen. But they're spending. It's a party out in San Diego. I mean, the Fighting Gavin Sheets will tell you, it's a great place to play. It's a fun place to play, and it's gorgeous out there, dude. San Diego. Which, they lost that in translation, Zach, if you didn't know the true meaning of it. So
I do.
Saint Diego is what you thought I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm.
Ron
so it's something to watch, though. But the Padres, just like the rest of the NL West, but what they're have to figure out here, the Dodgers are going to be the Dodgers. San Diego needs to figure out what they're going to do with ownership. But you see when there's tension or turmoil or, a situation at hand, look what happened with Minnesota up there with the Twinkies. They were like, we're selling. There's so much uncertainty. Well, we're unsure. Screw it. Let's just tear this thing down. And they fully tore it down. And it wasn't just for the sole reason of we're rebuilding. They tore it down because of the uncertainty with the organization. So we can talk all the way about that in many ways. And yeah, you stay classy out there.
Stay classy.
San Diego, which
Don't
of
read
course
anything on the teleprompter.
Yep. You put it on the prompter. Burgundy will read.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Oh gosh. I'm Ryan Ripken. Oh, sugar. Yeah, I might get a poll on that. What is the most quotable Will Ferrell movie? I actually had a different poll that I was going to put up there. And I'm blanking on it right now because I keep thinking about The Business. And I want to keep talking about a little bit of The Business.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to continue to let's get down to business. Let's switch to the other side of the NFL real quickly because this is, I think, a very interesting point.
Yeah.
It's not about the play on the field. So anyone that's out there going, I don't care about the NFL or football. Well, we're going to talk football in a little bit. This is about how you run your business. And so every year, if you guys have seen this, after the season's concluded, the players are surveyed to then give report cards about their experience with the organization they just spent the year with. Now, sure, some could be skewed, but essentially what you're doing is giving honest feedback. So if you guys are listening to this on Apple and Spotify and wherever you get your podcast, the NFLPA, this is what they say the report cards are.
Yeah.
For the last 3 seasons, the NFLPA have gathered direct feedback through a workplace survey to compile in the annual NFLPA team report cards, and teaming up with expert survey firms Optimus Strategy Group, the questions and categories have been shaped to reflect what you as players value in your workplace experience, highlighting best practices across the league and identifying areas that need improvement. We thank you for the strong participation, and we're encouraged that it seems many teams are listening, resulting in better facilities, upgraded locker rooms, enhanced family spaces, improved travel accommodations, and other positive changes to your overall working conditions. So essentially, paraphrasing, the report cards are put out there to hold teams accountable, and then
it's working. Yeah, and it's working.
And,
as teams, they've listed there. Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're talking about now, because the next part of that is that the NFL has filed a grievance against these said report cards and are asking the NFLPA to stop releasing these annual report cards, because they feel like it is doing a disservice to the organizations. And the NFLPA responded back, "Oh, well, don't you worry. They want us to stop. We're going to move ahead and do this year's survey, and you'll be asked about it in the upcoming weeks." How about that?
Yeah.
So Zach, the reason with this, and you can lead on to this, is we're wondering, the NFL owners filed a grievance against the NFLPA to stop the annual report cards. Now, Ari Mayroff is reporting that, the specific owner who is calling them totally bogus and wanted this was Woody Johnson. And Woody Johnson has received an F grade in the past from his players on that said report card.
Ryan, this reminds me of the kid on the playground who's like, he shows up, you're playing pickup basketball, and he's like, yeah, no, I want to play. And then he like misses his first 5 shots, and he's like, this is a stupid game. Like, why do we do this? This is a stupid game. Like, basketball is stupid. Like, that's how it feels. Like, everyone's like, yeah, let's get some report cards. Let's see this. And then he got an F, and he was like, these report cards are super stupid. Totally bogus. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, completely false. I think, honestly, we should just throw this away, because this ain't helping anybody. Let's get that shit out of here.
Yeah, it's like, let's ignore the fact that how many teams and players have we seen over the past few years. I mean, even the Ravens this year, the Ravens did not grade out great in some, aspects. They come back this year, and Marlon Humphrey was filming the entire thing and was like, they upgraded everything that we had an issue with. Like, this was I know the Bengals did the same thing. People were on them about stuff, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. It felt like every team took the feedback because it's public. It's out there. It's not like just the owners got this. This is transparent with the entire league, with all the fans of like, hey, this is what they do, all the way to the point of how do they treat your family? What's daycare like there? How do they help the kids? So this was great. And then it's like Woody Johnson got an F as an owner, and he was like, I don't see what the point of this is.
Yeah, this is stupid. Waste of time. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the reason why for the surveys could sometimes things be skewed, of course, if how a player feels, but the reason why they are fielding so many reports is that the minimal reports will maybe weed themselves out. Is it someone that was frustrated with the team in one ways? It's a whole collective, survey. And I think that's the cool part for me, because at the end of the day, Zach, and this is with all sports, that's why I wanted to talk about it. Feedback and being able to use the data is supposed to help you. And everything from the player experience to the fan experience, when an organization listens to their employees and listens to their fans, typically you get a better result. And now I will say this with Woody Johnson. If he got an F grade and the Jets were actually a team and they were a juggernaut and they were a unit, well then damn, it can feel a little bit different. But it's when you've been one of the worst franchises since you've taken over the Jets, that's a problem. And then factor in that your fans aren't getting a winning product. Your players don't feel that they're getting what they need. It's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
But it's for something all around sports. And even for us, like with business, like everything that happens, like everything we do with this show, Zach.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm going to see every single comment, but I go back and look at what people liked, what people didn't like. And was it the content itself? Or was it, maybe this person really didn't like it, but why didn't they like it? There's feedback you get. So,
and
ironically,
I was going to say, I believe actually they stated right in here that they are getting with a participation rate of nearly 80%. So 80% of players, this is all of the players' grades on the team put together that come into the final survey. So this is not just like, oh, Lamar, they're handing Lamar Jackson a sheet and they're like, hey, can you go around and just like get everyone's feeling and this like trot it down to put everyone's given a survey, I guess 80% participation so far. And then that goes all compiled for the teams into one. And I guess they average it out for each, category.
Yeah. And again, let it be to the Jets. You win a couple games.
You knew it was the Jets.
But you win a couple games now, you're feeling good. And then, hey, whammy, just by the way, people still think you stink. Your players think what you're doing inside the locker room stinks. That's not. What have I said from the beginning? Your peers, that tells the story. And I know that they're the employees, but still not a great feeling. I don't know, Jim. I don't know, Jim.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Jim. Yeah, definitely. The most predictable thing ever. If there's going to be one owner who was upset about this, it's maybe the one that was, what was it? He was taking advice from his son who was using Madden ratings to say which players were better. So I can't say maybe it isn't warranted in some ways, the F, but hey, you know what? Do better. That's what we just do better. I'm sure if you do better, you won't get an F. Maybe also don't, I'll say I'm shocked he got an F, especially after this season with, him just publicly throwing his quarterback under the bus, saying they need someone to complete those passes, all that. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Woody Johnson got that. Who could have seen that coming?
Seems like it's been a fun time to be a Jets fan for your entire life, unfortunately. But just bring Rex back so we can talk about eating some snacks. That's still one of the best sound bites from a Hard Knocks of all time. Those are our two getting down to business. So we appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We would have been in studio today. I had some meetings running late, so I apologize. On Mondays and Thursdays, we're in the big studio. We're doing it up. We were going to have a wild Nick Moore back on from the Baltimore Ravens today, but he's got to be a family man, has some things going on. Plus, he's got to get ready for the Browns. The rumors are that he might be having the C for Sunday's game. Watch out,
Ooh, big if true.
So if they lose, we know who to blame.
We know.
We know who to blame. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I was trying to figure out where we're going next. Where are we going next?
I think
Zach?
we just stick with sort of business, sort of football, and front off. I mean, if you want to go see potentially a wild Nick Moore play, if you want to make that trip to Cleveland, buy yourself 5 seats. Give yourself options, because seats and tickets to watch the Browns play the Ravens in Cleveland are as low as $6. The cheapest NFL ticket all season on TickPick. I mean, I guess if you want to just watch Lamar Jackson play ball in the Cleveland area, this is a steal.
I mean, if you really want to brag to your friends and family and splurge, and you just say you bought 20 tickets, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, you're so generous." Hey, anything for you guys.
Seriously, it's nothing. Seriously.
Anything for you guys. Oh, you know what? I'll buy 100.
Yeah, you could buy a section out for like the price of a Ravens playoff ticket of like 4 seats for a family. Why do that when you can just have a whole section to yourself in Cleveland to watch Lamar play?
And right now it looks like Dylan Gabriel will start that game.
Yeah.
And let me see what else I have on here. I was trying to look up the weather. Like, what if it's going to be a sunny day? $6, sunny day in Cleveland?
I'll look up the weather.
I'm looking it up right now. What's the weather like on Sunday in Cleveland? Also, 4:25 kickoff, by the way.
I hate that. Absolutely hate that. It's okay. Just
it's a high of 50.
It's sunny. It's going to be sunny in Columbus, so 2 hours north. I'm assuming it's going to be windy. It's saying
windy, high of 50.
Yeah, not ideal, but still.
How about that? Look at us. Let's go to Cleveland. The crazy thing is, if you could find a way to get to Cleveland, if you're going to drive, day trip, flying could be a little challenging. Flights are getting canceled a little bit left and right. There's the risk there, but you drive, talk about cost efficient, because taking advantage of opportunities. But the reason why the prices are so low, obviously, we just talked about being a Jets fan, and I do feel for Cleveland fans, and I know that they hate Ravens fans because, leaving Cleveland to come to Baltimore, but then you got a team a few years later. I think the thing that stings the nostrils is just how good the Ravens franchise has been and how bad Cleveland has been since they came back into the NFL. So,
definitely is not great. Definitely, whoops. Our bad.
Whoops. Well, there it is. $6 tickets. Wham.
Yeah. Boom. Easy.
Guarantee the tickets aren't going to be that low come Thanksgiving when the Ravens play the Bengals. It's going to be a little jacked up right there. But I digress. For a different time, for a different place. I think we've gotten our business conversations down. Zach, I know we're going to dive pretty heavy into baseball down the stretch, but since we're on football, should we go around Maryland for football?
Let's do it. I guess we could have gone around Maryland there, but, I guess around Cleveland. So go around Maryland.
Why don't we go around Maryland to see what the teams that play in Maryland of what's going on here. Do you have the graphic?
Yeah, I got the graphic.
Over under 3 seconds.
Always under.
Look at that. Brought to you by our friends over at Next Move Charm City, by the way. Hey, how you doing? The Belanger team over there at Lone Depot. Appreciate Shannon and Brett and Rich. It's a great team. And if you're looking to make your move, make the next move with Next Move Charm City. And I just think depot's a word that I don't know why. I think it just sounds cool. Going to the depot.
Yeah.
Lone Depot. Yeah.
Lone Depot. Not just the depot.
Yeah. So actually, Zach, of the teams that are in Maryland here, the Commanders and the Ravens are both out of state. They're actually, the Commanders are out of the country. They're in Madrid. How about that?
And, and that is definitely, that's going to be an interesting game. It's really cool that it's in Spain. Probably not the best football. It's probably not going to be hey, we got to watch this because it's going to be the greatest show on turf. But it is cool that the NFL continues to expand. I just hope the people, Spain and Madrid, they're probably going to think Devon Achane is like the best player in the league.
I hope. Hey, you know what? As a Devon Achane fantasy football, owner in this case, I would love another legacy game from Achane. I want them in the laundry carts. They have, over there in Madrid. I want that same energy again.
I saw this tweet after the Germany game this past week. It was like, obviously a joke. It was like, asked the people of Berlin to rank the running backs in the National Football League, and 1 was Jonathan Taylor, 2 is Tyler Algier, and then 3 is Bijan Robinson. And I was like, damn, they probably do think Algier is like the better running back.
Dude, Algier also over the last 3 games in fantasy has like the exact same amount of points as Bijan Robinson.
Oh, I know, because I have both of them, and it is turning into very quickly. It's turning into a Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker situation of, okay, who's going to get the touchdown? So do I just go with that upside, or like I can't bench Bijan? Like that's not no way you can do that. But at the same time, Tyler Algier, I've started both of them on back-to-back weeks. It's been tough. That
is tough. Yeah. That's a tough situation for you. Tough situation for the Commanders. No Jaden Daniels. They're trying to stay afloat. They're pretty decimated with injuries, which then kind of leads me to Baltimore, because Baltimore was decimated with injuries. They're starting to get healthier. People were about to have a little panic attack because Lamar Jackson didn't practice on Wednesday. But honestly, I feel like that's just death taxes. And Lamar's going to miss practice time. Like, just he does.
Full participant.
He's back. He returned to practice. Ravens overall are healthier, minus Marlon Humphrey. Had surgery. Put a pin in his hand, so he'll miss at least a game. You should beat Cleveland with or without Marlon Humphrey. Now, here's the one thing, though, that's kind of scary, is that Cleveland has just been the pain in the Ravens' ass over the years. And not that it's been, in the big moments, but the Ravens head-to-head, Zach, they split the last 2 years.
I was going to say, Kevin Stefanski, every year he's been the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, they've at least won 1 game of the series each year.
Yeah. That is correct. I mean, when you look at this right now, the Ravens, when they've played the Browns in Baltimore, it's turned out well. Set back in, what was it? 2023, actually, the Brownies won that game in Baltimore. That's crazy. And the Ravens ended up being the 1 seed that year. They beat them by 25 that year earlier in the season.
Last loss of the regular season. That was week 4. Last loss of the regular season. That was to go to 2-2.
Yeah. But 2-7 for the Brownies, the Ravens. But it is this type of, I need it's a trap that you cannot overlook.
I'm just going to say it. It's moments like these where it's like Joe Flacco, 18-3. Did we take that for granted? Like, because he just always took advantage. It feels like the Browns, for some reason, under Kevin Stefanski, like they just decided, even if we're bad, we're taking one from Baltimore. Like, at least it felt like during the Flacco era, the Browns were like so bad that like even like the kick 6 to win it, like they were finding ways to lose, and now they're just a pain in our side. Like, even if you're like, oh yeah, Lamar played a great game, everything, that defense is just, say what you want about that offense, not great. That defense is still scary. That defense, goodness. And we saw it the first game that we played them. I mean, the Ravens had it was 10-3 in the third. It's not like the Ravens were running away with it the whole time. Anytime Myles Garrett's on the field, I'm going to be afraid.
Derrick Henry had 23 total yards rushing in that game. 11 carries, 23 yards. He did fumble, but didn't lose it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because that's when
squad.
the Browns said they were selling out to beat Henry. So I made Derrick Henry the my bet of the week. And I was like, yeah, you don't question the king. And you know what? I said, if you come for the king, you best not miss. They didn't.
They really did not.
They did not miss at all.
Like not even a little bit. So that will be interesting to see. Week 11 obviously kicks off tonight. We'll get to your best bet of the night, Zach, later on.
Yeah.
But the Ravens, like, honestly, the crazy thing right now is that football is not crazy at the moment. Like the only real conversation around it is, okay, you got to win. Ravens need to win. Okay, cool. Patriots are good. I mean, there's some good games, the Chiefs, the Broncos, but there's no like dire storyline. Like not even the MVP race, which I was thinking about playing something today. But like the Colts aren't playing, and Jonathan Taylor actually, Daryl Johnson, when we had him on last week, he was very adamant about like, hey, JT should be in this race. He's been a beast, but that's not even a big storyline right now. Like there really isn't.
Yeah.
Like
if there was ever a year for Jonathan, like a running back to do it, it's this year. You get what I mean? Like because no one's run away. Like you can say last year, like, oh, well, Saquon, like if Saquon didn't win it last year, no one's going to be able to win it. Saquon was competing against Lamar Jackson, having one of the best, seasons a quarterback has ever had. And then you have Josh Allen, who obviously had a fantastic year. Then he's also going out and gets the Bills, the 1 seed. It feels like, last year it was a 2-man race the entire year. This year, no one's really gone ahead and put themselves as, okay, I'm the MVP. It's always a quarterback award, but there's no quarterback that sits there and at this moment has run away with it enough that I have to say, no, JT can't win it. JT keeps averaging 200 rushing yards, going over 200 rushing yards a game and having multiple 3-touchdown games still. He might be, especially if the Colts end up with the 1 seed.
I mean, if they get the 1 seed, a big reason is going to be that he will have to continue to do this. I think the one thing I'm going to like to watch is he's at 15 tutties right now, Zach. 15 tutties. He's got over 1,100 rush yards. Okay.
He's going to need to get at least 25 touchdowns.
He's got 17 total touchdowns on the year, but 15. Does he break 30? If he breaks 30 touchdowns rushing and gets 2,000 rushing yards.
Yeah. MVP.
Then we'll see right there. Oh, we'll see what happens. Because then other people are saying the guy in Baltimore, if the Ravens go 12-5 and they run the table and Lamar has 35 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree, because I think what JT is doing is stupid, ridiculous, man. And it's the same thing right now. Tonight, the MLB, we're going to see who wins the MVP tonight, by the way.
Did you see Bob Nightingale?
No.
He's the president of the Baseball Writers of America Association, so the ones who give the award. And he tweeted out this morning, he's like, tonight's MVP race where Shohei Ohtani will unanimously receive it, and it seems as if Aaron Judge will narrowly win the award over Cal Raleigh. And everyone's like, dude, did you just spoil the awards right beforehand? Like, what was that tweet? Like, what are we doing? It was the most Bob Nightingale tweet of all time. Just, what are we doing?
I mean, honestly, I do think
it's going to be Judge, but
it's going to be
as the president, you don't tweet out like, yeah, where you can expect to see this. Like, be like, who's going to finally win it in the AL? Like, we're putting to bed the discussion tonight.
I'm gonna take one out of Woody Johnson's book now. This whole MVP race now is totally bogus.
Yeah, totally bogus.
This whole voting system is totally bogus.
Revote, recount.
Revote, recount. Well, That's really kind of like the football stuff we have until the best bet, Zach, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we're kind of set. We're good.
We're set.
We're set.
Set hut.
Red, dude. I also love with Ollie. Ollie understands red 7 when I'm going to throw him a ball and he goes and runs a route. You've seen it at times. You know what I got.
Yeah.
Red 7 hot route. My pup, if the Commanders need another wide receiver, Ollie's there. He's ready.
Yeah.
Beast.
Deep threat.
Beast. Okay. But yeah, let's get to some baseball news then, Zach. Let's jump over to the baseball field. The mound. Where are we going with this? Lead us.
Yeah, I think let's start off with, hey, we're going into really the GM meetings coming to an end. Yesterday, we played everyone's favorite game, Real or Fake Quote by Scott Boras. All of them were somehow real. But something came out as we were getting off that I did want to bring to light. And it's Mike Elias shared a wish list. And he told reporters they are behaving as buyers this winter in either free agency or a trade. But the wish list is something we haven't necessarily seen from Mike Elias before. He's saying they want a frontline starting pitcher, closer or late inning reliever, and a veteran bat to fit into the outfield. He then later talked about, hey, people asked, are you willing to sign guys who received qualifying offers, meaning you would lose a draft pick for signing them, something the Orioles have strayed away from in the Elias era because we know how Elias feels about their drafting and how they draft and the value they get there. He said yes. He said they are willing to lose draft picks for these players if it comes to that. So overall, this is a little different than we've seen Mike Elias talk before. In other years, you got the same GM talk of, yeah, we're going to be aggressive, all that. And at first you kind of felt like, oh, this is another GM talk. He's going to say a lot of words that tell us absolutely nothing. But between the wish list and kind of assuring fans, hey, we're willing to give up a draft pick if it means we get the right player, it feels like maybe this year is a little different. And Ryan, before we get into this conversation, we asked Tim Kirchin about it the other day, about, hey, we've heard this before, but is this the year the Orioles could actually be big spenders or just spending in general? So let's listen to what he said, and then we can react to it on the other side. This is kind of that year that maybe the Orioles go out there and are willing to spend more money than usual.
Yeah, I think it is the year because it has to be the year because of what happened last year. You can't tantalize everyone with 3 years in a row like they played and then lose 75 games and leave people shaking their heads. You can't have that when the people in Baltimore have supported this team. So yes, I think now's the time, but it's easy for us to say that because it's not our money. And Kyle Schwarber, the Phillies are going to overwhelm him to bring him back. Kyle Tucker is going to be the best overall player, defense and offense, on the market. The Orioles are in huge competition to get any of these guys. I mean, I know the Red Sox really want Alex Bregman back, and I know he wants to go back, but at the right price. So, yes, they have to spend money, but let's be clear. They are up against some serious competition because so many other teams need to add players also.
I mean, Tim's exactly right that a lot of teams are going to be looking to improve their roster. And he's also right that the Orioles need to be one of those teams to improve their roster, and they have to go and make some moves, But it's interesting because we've never heard Uncle Mike be this open.
Yeah.
It's usually been more not in the way of like Scott Boras talking, different alliteration of words, but it's sometimes been very vague or you're still trying to decipher of what's happening or what's going on. And so to hear him actually specify on what they wanted to go and get, well, now that's what people are going to hold Mike Elias and the Orioles accountable to is this is what you said your wish list is. and you are behaving as buyers. So if you're saying this is what you are looking for, frontline starter, closer, late inning reliever, and a veteran bat, then the Orioles fans are going to expect you to get one of each.
Yeah.
Like minimum. Like that's the minimum is what you're expecting. So, and I know it's not always going to work out that way, but more than anything, to say that out loud specifically is going to put the target on your back of, well, we got to come through this way. This is what we got to do, you know? So,
yeah, because like, let's be honest, like, you know, in prior years, you got a lot of, we're going to be active in a lot of markets. Yeah, we're viewing everyone in free agency and we're going to see what we can do. Yeah, we're going to be active in this. You know, it was always they're going to be active. You know, we're putting our name in there. This time, like you said, he gave a checklist. He's like, hey, these are the 3 things we need to do to improve this team. And now, if they don't do this, you can't go, well, we didn't really feel like we needed to improve there. Because you've said it. You've said, hey, this is where we need to prove. So it's almost that accountability of, hey, he's confident almost. And that's what I think it is. It's more confident of, hey, we're going to be getting these guys. Ryan, you know as well as anyone, and, you know, Oriole fans, say what you want. Mike Elias is very calculated. And I don't think Mike Elias just said this to say this. If Mike Elias had no intention of bringing, you know, in a veteran bat or in a late inning reliever or top end starter, he wouldn't have said it. Like he's not a guy who just talks to talk. He's a guy who he's very calculated. You know, he's one of those guys when he says something, it's not necessarily like, oh, it's going to happen. But if he didn't feel like they needed that, I don't think he would have said that. I don't think he just said that to be like, I'll just say we're going to do this and then we'll figure it out. Yeah. So that's where I really took from this.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you want to be calculated and strategic for what you want to do, but then the biggest part now is you got to execute, or you have to execute when the plan doesn't go according to the way that you want, because that's what's going to happen in here. You're going to get a feel of who's interested, what are you willing to push the buttons, and if you know that one idea or possibility is going to be closed, which one are you now segueing to that you're going to put your focus in? And so for the Orioles, that's what they're going to look at. And actually, there was a surprise name. I missed this earlier what John Heyman was throwing out there, and I don't know if I'm buying this take. Did you see this earlier?
Which?
About who another player that he thinks the Orioles might be in on, which I'm not buying, but like this, it would fit the narrative of a veteran bat with pop. I'm assuming you haven't.
No, let's
all right. Well, I'll pull it up here for you. Always take the under here, and then we'll react to it. Let me see. Hey, take the under. We always like taking the under here. Ready? Here we go. Take a listen to this one.
Now Alonso obviously back on the market. He is a priority for the Mets. At least he does feel like a priority. I understand they want to improve run prevention, but I don't think they can afford to lose those 38 home runs, 126 RBI. So I think the Mets have a reasonably decent chance to bring Alonso back. We shall see. It's early in the game. There's going to be other suitors. I'm hearing of one surprise suitor that could potentially be the Baltimore Orioles, which is a team that has not really been linked to Alonso at this point.
That was John Heyman on New York Post Sports.
I love it. And we talked about it before. I don't, maybe there's some Michael Elias talked about earlier, yesterday about the first base DH log jam. And he's like, yeah, no, we have guys that can play there. But he said, if we were to bring in someone, then it would be an option to have to start getting rid of guys. Do I think it will happen? No. I'm an Orioles fan. I know not to get my hopes up like that, especially when you're talking about a guy who, Steve Cohen, hey, a lot of money. These guys, they are not afraid to toss a ridiculous amount of money. I think Pete Alonso is going to be one of the most sought after free agents out there. But a righty bat who has proven that he, obviously the power is undeniable, but also very, very, very good with runners in scoring position. Those RBIs, so those don't just happen. You don't get those from just hitting solo shots, from just hitting home runs. Like, you have to produce. And that's a guy that I think if you toss in the middle of the order for the Orioles, that's a game changer. That takes the Orioles lineup to the next level. Do I think it happens? I'm going to say doubtful. But am I surprised that the Orioles would be interested in that? No. I think that changes your lineup for the better.
Oh, dude, there's no one can ever devalue to me the importance of the RBI. Yeah. Home runs, if you hit 5 home runs, 10 home runs, but you drive in 100, that's what I focus on, because I think that's a skill that people don't necessarily look at. Being an RBI guy, it's a skill. And certainly you can have your ups and downs, but there's a reason why when you say who are some of the best guys in pressure and getting that guy in, look around the league at the consistency. You don't do it one year, you do it multiple years. And Pete Alonso, the thing that he has done extremely well is, he can hit home runs. No doubt about it. Last year, or in 2024, Zach, it was a little bit down, but he still had 88 ribbies. And then how about in 2023? He only hit 217, but guess how many runs he drove in?
How many?
118. So a guy, and like 46 jacks and 38 and 34 and all that, those help. You hit home runs with runners in scoring position, or guys on base, I'm sorry to say. Yeah. That's going to up those numbers. And those aren't rookie numbers, Zach. Let's get those numbers up. You need a guy. Yeah, you got that reference right there. Uh-huh. You need a guy that you can look at in your lineup and say, who is going to get him in? Because right now, when you look at, say, we're talking about with Baltimore, but you're looking around the rest of the league, this is why I know I saw a comment in there, like Boston would be an unbelievable fit for him. Pete Alonso, for anyone, when they're talking about overpaying and you're looking at, long-term, can he play first? Is he going to regress? I will take a guy that drives in. If his bad year is 88 RBIs in the last 3 years, I take that easily. But factor in it's a guy that's driven in over 118 runs 2 of the last 3 years. Yes, sign me up for that. If you want to go back a little bit further, Zach.
Yeah.
His year before in 2022, 131 RBIs in full season, Zach, since 2019 when he came into the league. Take out COVID.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso has not had less than 94 RBIs in a season.
Yeah. And Ryan, you talked about the career low, take out COVID, being 88. Do you know where that would have ranked on the Baltimore Orioles this year?
His COVID year?
I said, so 88, the lowest he's had, 88. Do you know where that would have...
for full season, that would lead the team.
Yeah. So the leader this year was Gunnar Henderson with 68. That's 20 more in his lowest year than the Orioles' top RBI contributor this year. I mean, like you said, there is nothing that you take. One of the most underrated things in baseball, which is weird, is RBIs. Everyone looks at OPS and, let all this, home runs, OPS. How can you drive guys in? Because I'll tell you, as someone who watched the Orioles a lot this year, leave guys stranded on third base, on second and third, even with one out. That's the biggest thing. This is a guy that they don't always have to be big time homers or doubles or singles. It's a guy on third, one out, just put it in the air. Put it in the air, get the run in. Doesn't have to be a single. Put the ball in the air, gets the job done.
Zach, there are 16 players this year in Major League Baseball that had more than 100 RBIs. Yeah. 16. 3 of those players are free agents right now. Schwarber, Alonso, and Suarez. Mm-hmm. There were 3 of the top 4. The only one that was sandwiched in between them was Cal Raleigh. but it was Schwarber with 132. Alonso was second with 126. And then Suarez was fourth with 118, with Cal Raleigh having 125. And if people want to talk analytics, put me in the direction of the analytics that say you need to score runs to win games. Go get me the guys that can drive in those guys. And this is the and I know we got a wild Kevin Ostreicher it's alive now. I thought he's risen from the dead. We'll get to him in a second. But the thing that I want to point out with a lineup construction, okay? I've said from the beginning, not every player is the same, and not every player's job is supposed to be the same. And when you look at a team like Baltimore, you look at a team like Boston and New York, you have Aaron Judge. Guess what his job is? Driving guys. Be everything. That's what he does. Cleveland Guardians will go over there. What's Jose Ramirez's job? Drive-in runs. The Devers, until he got traded for the Red Sox, his job? Drive-in runs. The Orioles don't have that guy. The Blue Jays had two. They had Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette, which then a surprise George Springer, but his job was get on base and make some things happen and with some pop. But the Orioles don't have that RBI, this is our guy, and then we can have a surprise here and there. Because, of course, can Westberg and Holiday and Gunnar be RBI guys? Sure, especially Gunnar and Westy should. Mm-hmm. But right now, none of those guys are having the production Pete Alonso, and that's why I'm okay with the strikeouts with a guy like that, so long as he's so damn good at his one job.
Yeah.
You put up with strikeouts if you're so damn good at your one job. And Pete Alonso and Kyle Schwarber and Suarez were damn good at driving guys in, whether it's the home run or just getting the job done with a little dink doink or a ball find and some grass. That's what we got right there.
Yeah, and, I just looked it up. Gunnar Henderson in 2024, everyone was talking MVP, all that, only drove in 92. So, you can be an incredible athlete. You can be one of the top hitters in baseball, but it's a skill to get guys in. It is. You can say, oh, as long as you're a good hitter, you'll drive in runs. It's not always about, hey, let's hit the big 3-run homer. It's like I said, it's guy on third, one out, hit a fly ball. You do that, it's not going to go down as an RBI single, but you do that 15, 20 times a year. That's 20 extra runs that you batted in, and you didn't even have to get a hit out of it. Ground ball to the shortstop, stuff like that.
You remember the Carlos Lee story I told you, right?
Yeah.
For those who didn't hear the Carlos Lee story, if you guys remember Carlos Lee, played from 1999 to 2012. And Carlos Lee, I think his nickname was El Caballo, the horse, I think it was. Yeah. And one of the minor league coaches when I was playing would tell the story all the time. When Carlos was on a rehab assignment, he had Carlos talk to the players. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about hitting approach. And Carlos said, you know what? I'm not worried about trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I'm not trying to worry about hitting the ball for extra base hits when there's a guy on third base. He goes, a guy on third base, less than 2 outs, infield back. I'm trying to hit a ground ball to the shortstop because I'm the RBI guy. That's my job.
Yep.
And when you look at his numbers over time, his entire career, Zach, and that he played a full season. This is the crazy thing. Okay. So 2012 was the first time. I lied. I guess he did play the full season back in 2012. But prior to 2012, for 12 straight seasons, Carlos Lee did not have a year where he had less than 80 RBIs. And during that timeline, he also had 4 straight seasons of 100 RBIs or more. You want to talk about consistency? That mindset is a big reason why El Caballo did the things that he did. And by the way, Zach, in those 4 straight years of having 100 or more RBIs, the most home runs he had in a season was 37.
Yeah.
So just goes to show you.
Boom. Drive runs in. Just get guys in.
Boom. Well, great. Well, we appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you. If you're new to that channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live at 5 right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And joining us live at 5 on the Ryan Ripken Show. He's alive.
He's
That's Kevin
alive
Oestreicher.
at 5.
He's alive at 5.
Oh my gosh. Write that down, Kevin.
Write that down. He's alive. He's feeling better. And he's covering the Ravens on Locked On Ravens. It's Locked On Kevin Oestreicher.
Wow.
Kevin.
Yeah. Certainly not all the way there yet, but I figured I've taken enough sick days and can show my face again. This is my first time with the vertical on the side. It's tripping me out having me on the one side and then me on the other too.
Yeah, you want to look over and look at yourself. I think I look better on the vertical. I'm like, damn, in the middle I look good. The horizontal.
Yeah, well, it's how it's layered differently on the vertical.
Whoa, see, Kevin, look at that.
I'm learning.
It's like we're the Brady Bunch. On the vertical side, it's like I can look up.
Have you seen that Usher thing with the singing where he's going like and he's
no
on
one
like
told
the bottom right corner.
Yeah, no one told him that. Someone told him he was going to be in the middle.
I think he just assumed he was in the middle. He's like, I'm Usher. I'm going to be in the middle.
They did him so even if you'd have to put him in the middle after that.
Well, I think that was his thought process. As if I just act like I'm in the middle, they're good.
Yeah. They did him so dirty.
Has anyone ever asked him that?
That's a good question. I don't know actually.
You know what? That would be a Ryan Ripken Show exclusive. If anything, I'd like to ask him besides I want to understand Confessions Part 2, or I'd like to sing Confessions Part 2 with him.
That'd be good karaoke.
Ooh, it would. I would like to understand that commercial. What were you told going into it? I would love to know. Would love that.
Yeah.
Some good kids, man. Well, Kev, you missed a little football we talked earlier. Honestly, there's not like a lot of football that we talked about. Mainly it's like baseball right now. The stove is like starting to get a little hotter.
Yeah. I'm ready. And baseball is so interesting with this free agency because just kind of like, anyone could sign at any time, but also it's going to take like 3 months to really get things cooking most years. I'm hoping it's different this year. We kind of get some traction, but I mean, look,
they also love there's nothing happens, and then they're like, move. And like 7 rip off in 2 days. You're like, oh, it's happening, baby.
Yeah.
And then like a month of radio silence. And you're like, okay, never mind.
Am I on the wrong mic? I'm on my camera mic. Joe, thank you. You're ready for this?
Hello.
There it is.
Kevin is in the bathroom.
I forgot to check. Now this is not a green screen anymore. This is the real deal, the real bookshelf. Although the glass fish collection is now in retirement off of the it's still on the bottom shelf, but it's not in view anymore.
Wow.
I had to give ode to my 1930s antique penguin doorstop. That's the newest.
I like it though.
That's the newest attraction. So
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, then we know the Orioles will have their monthly 2 a.m. move.
That was so bad last year. 3 straight Fridays where we had to go live at 1 a.m. because they made a move was crazy. I was like, can we stop this? Or no, it was 2 straight, and then the third one was Corbin Burns.
Yeah, Corbin was 3 a.m. Yeah,
3 a.m.
That was West Coast time at its finest right there. But I'm hoping this time they can. I mean, the messaging has been they're going to be aggressive. Of course, I think everybody, including myself, is in. And I'm sure you guys have talked about it. We're going to wait to see it before believing it. But, because wasn't last year we heard a lot about whether it was extensions for guys or other moves. So I remember, Zach, we said this like every show on Kevin and Zach React when the season was winding down. I'm like, they have to do something this year, right? Like, there's no way they don't. And, it's funny, Ryan. I don't know if you know my whole Nick Pivetta thing from last year.
Bring it up.
Where Zach was like, who do you want them to re-sign Corbin Burns or go and trade for like this stud guy? And I'm like, I want Nick Pivetta. out of everyone. And Zach is like, what? It just got roasted by everybody. And Nick Pivetta finished, what was it, like 5th in Cy Young, 7th,
He finished
6th?
6th in the NL Cy Young.
So I
Give
need to
me
scavenge the
Iguodala.
market. I need to scavenge the market to get my next underrated.
Elias is going to be in contact with you, Kevin. He's going to be like, Kevin, what are we seeing this year?
Who says
What's
he's
the
not
vision?
already? Who says he's not already? Just making moves.
Okay, so we can blame Kevin for the first moves.
I agree.
Wow.
I wholeheartedly agree. One thing, you're talking about all these moves, Zach and Kev. There's a report coming out, Zach, that, maybe some of these moves could be happening sooner than you think.
Yeah.
And there was one report that was out earlier. I think it's Francis said that, of saying, hearing from the GM meetings that the reliever market could start moving in the next few hours. Now, granted, that was at 10:04 a.m.
The next few
And
days, more realistically.
Yeah. With big names such as Diaz, Devin Williams, Robert Suarez, Iglesias, and Ryan Helsley being the ones. That was a trend at the last deadline. Guys, I would actually prioritize. I think, if anything, this is something I'd be on. I would want to lock up the premier leverage relievers, because the starters, it is a slow burn. And to your exact point, Kevin, of last year of give me Nick Pivetta, there are going to be guys that are going to be bargain signs, right?
I think the Orioles will make one of those. I think if I had to predict, I think like a Devin Williams, a Helsley, like guys who struggled pretty. I mean, I know Helsley with the Mets struggled, and Williams was a roller coaster all year for the Yankees. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, remember the Orioles were in on Clay Holmes last year. It's kind of a reclamation project. So I wouldn't be shocked if they try to make one of those moves, and not it being the only one, but saying, hey, we really like this guy's stuff. We like his metrics and that word analytics that everybody seems to hate nowadays. I mean, I feel like they could go for that. Is that the right move? I mean, we'll have to wait and see if it happens, but would you guys be shocked if they made a reclamation project move like that?
No,
not at all. No. And I think, Ryan, kind of what you were just saying, I think the reason you have to kind of prioritize this is this seems like one of those, we kept talking about how it ramps up super fast and then it dies back down. It usually does that in position groups. So let's say Edwin Diaz signs first. Everyone who missed out on Diaz is suddenly calling Suarez, is calling Devin Williams, is calling Iglesias, is calling Helsley. And it's like one guy goes down, and then the next top 3 guys suddenly in the next 48 hours are like, they're all off the market. So, yeah, I think this is probably the position group that we really, you focus on early, because also without Felix Bautista, and you've sold a lot of guys at the deadline. Now, I know, obviously, Dominguez and Soto were already going to be free agents. I don't think they were going to be re-signed anyway. You traded Baker. You then do get Kittredge back, which was fun. But you don't, if you're the Orioles, that the bullpen is a massive, massive need. And how many times have we, Ryan, we talked to Jonathan Papelbon and 2 years ago, and he's like, you can't, it is insanely hard, borderline impossible to make a legit run if you don't have a guy that you can hand the ball to in the 9th and know you're going to get those 3 outs. If they go in with this current roster, like it's that bullpen, yeah, you can find guys, through the waiver wire and AAA and guys coming up that can handle those 6th, 7th innings, 5th through 6th, 5th through 7th. That's 8th, 9th inning when the leverage is high. That you got to have a different mindset. You got to have your best guys there. And so, Elias said they're looking for it, and I think this guy has to be probably their top.
You want me to put it all on the table? You want me to put it out there?
Let's
want me to make my proclamation?
Yes.
Robert Suarez will be a Baltimore Oriole.
I like it.
Wow. Robert Suarez will be a Baltimore Oriole.
Do you think it has anything to do, and this is half joking, think the Albert being there, do you think that has any?
That doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I'm not saying that
doesn't hurt. That would ultimately help. But if I could make the decision, Robert Suarez is the guy that I'm walking out of free agency with. I would overpay for Robert Suarez. I would do whatever it could to get him to be in Baltimore. I love what he's done. He's a pitcher that had 2.97 ERA this year, 2.77 the year before. He throws absolute fuzz balls. That's me throwing it all out there. I'll take the tarp off. Kev, you want me to take the tarp off?
Wow, Rip After Dark right now.
Thursday's wild, and not even the Friday show.
Yeah, it's not even the Friday show where we're getting a little frisky with a little happy hour. But I'm serious. I think I would even argue to an extent the one you can't mess around with more between starters and bullpen is the bullpen. And not again, I want to reiterate that I think the bullpen is easier to build, if that makes sense, right? Like you can build up your bullpen,
especially middle guys.
Yes, but the big thing is you can't find high leverage guys. Zach, you mentioned with Pap saying that you don't want to go in and figure out who your high leverage guy is midway through the year. You can find out guys that can handle it. Like Danny Coulomb was an example in 2023 where you're like, oh, this dude can do this. We're going to add him in. In previous years with the Yankees, I was watching Luke Weaver, and Weaver developed into a high leverage. And I know he had some struggles last year, and part of that was injury and whatnot, but he wasn't expected to be, and then he grew into one. That's great. You need to have a guy or two going into the season and going, yeah, that's the dude. That dude we know is going to be there. Kittredge is going to be involved because you had him. Robert Suarez, to me, circle it. I would take him. He would be the guy of all of the guys available that I would want the most. Number one bullpen guy that I'd want.
I agree. I think that he's someone that people have circled. I think Kevin, even towards the end of this past year, once the Felix news kind of came out, he was a guy that we really circled because it was like, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense when you look at it that he's a guy that you target. And especially because, so many of these guys are going to be, Edwin Diaz and all them. They're going to be competing with their current teams. You have to compete with the Mets for Edwin Diaz. Obviously, we talked about this before. The Padres seem to have run out of money, so you're not necessarily competing with him. I don't think they have the funds to give him, $20 million a year, 15 to 20 mil a year. So that is definitely a guy that I would I think he would take so much pressure off the rest of the bullpen.
Yeah, you need a guy like that. And I think that he fits, especially when you talk about someone that you can just rely on in those situations. And there are multiple guys in this class who you can rely on, but I think that Suarez is one of the hotter names on the market right now. And if he were to come to Baltimore and you can round out your bullpen in the middle, like you talked about there, because we know they do need multiple guys, getting Kittredge back was a move. You have a couple of other guys from this past year's team that you can throw in there and you feel good about based off what we saw from them down the stretch. But if you can get Suarez as that back end guy and then get 1 to 2 more, like high leverage, but also high quality guys that aren't necessarily like closers, but you can throw out there in the, 6th for a couple of innings or 7th or 8th guys. You're feeling good about this bullpen because it's not necessarily an overhaul of the bullpen, but it's a reshaping of sorts because of the guys that you did trade away and some of these other names that have become inconsistent for you. I'm interested to see what happens with Cano next season in terms of if he's going to round back into form after a tough year last season. So there are a lot of ways they can fix up this bullpen, but above all else, you need that guy you can throw out there that can shut the door for you, that you can throw out there for that inning and be like, all right, we're not worried about this. We're going to get 3 outs. We're going to pick up this win. And I think Suarez could be a really good option there.
Give me Suarez. Take it off.
Are we?
Is this action?
Is it happening? Oh, wow. Whoa.
I was really like, where is this show going? I was like, you got me. There was a part of me that was like, oh, this just escalated.
Like you were acting like, hey, Rip, take it off.
Although very comfy shirt you got on underneath, by the way.
It's super comfy. Hey, this is, you know what? These are the other ones that just have the logo here.
Even still, those are fine ones. Some of the one of the most comfy shirts I own. I'm not gonna lie.
They're comfy. The thing was, if doing that over, oh wow, let there be light.
Hello.
Holy smokes!
What did you just turn on?
Looks like you just ascended.
I just established as a clapper, off, and then, haha.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Gosh. But Ryan, as we, guys, as we kind of keep rolling, we listened to Tim Kirchin talk about how the Orioles should be spenders, and he feels like this is the one year. And he talked about a lot of guys that you're going to be competing with, and one of the names he mentioned was actually Kyle Tucker. It's a guy who fits. Hey, they need outfield help, but does that mean that it's going to be as easy as the Orioles call a guy like Kyle Tucker and go, hey, you want to come to Baltimore? And he's going to say yes? Absolutely not. And actually, they talked about it on MLB Network as well earlier about just Kyle Tucker's, what does his offseason outlook and what do his pursuers look like? So let's listen to that and we can react on the other side.
Thought would be the biggest name on this year's free agent market, and I guess arguably it still is. Sure. And that's Kyle Tucker, out there with a whole different set of variables now than what we were guessing would be around him in April and May when he was flourishing in his first months with the Cubs.
He's a fascinating case, Matt and Harold, and certainly we've been talking a lot around the lobby. Where's Kyle Tucker going to go? And I will again reference the National League West, the team that a lot of executives, different media folks, certainly agent speculation about where he might wind up. The Dodgers keep coming up. And while that might elicit a sigh from baseball fans around the continent, the reality is the Dodgers have a lot of money coming off of their books. The Dodgers have money to spend, and that is a frightening possibility, I know, for a lot of different people. Their outfield, and Joel Sherman made this point earlier in the week, their outfield at the end of those games did not necessarily have superstars and all-stars all over the place. There's actually room to improve there. And the other team, and again, I'll reference the Giants here, they need, I believe, one more big-time bat. And if you start to think about if they're able to sign a Tucker to go along with Devers, Eldridge growing in, Chapman, Adames, that's a pretty good lineup.
Well, the thing about the Dodgers, everybody keeps forgetting, Shohei Ohtani makes $2 million a year. I mean,
helps keep him a little leaner.
That does, big time.
That's a good point.
But I can see the Giants. Buster did say one point, I was watching MLB Tonight, and you were talking about this. He said they need to improve their outfield defense. And Tucker's a premier defender.
He is.
So that might be a spot that lands there, too.
I think about Tucker in right field there. That'd be a tremendous
But I think the money for Tucker brings him back into the fold for a lot of teams. That $500 million was eliminating a lot of teams. And I don't think he gets the $500 million.
I think you're right.
That brings him back to the fold of being reachable to a lot of clubs. I still think he's going back to the Astros.
All right.
Going back to the
did not expect that. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the full clip before. I did not expect him to say that at all. That was talk about planting a flag. Wow.
You know what? I know the Stros, they're going to have to make some decisions. And we talked about earlier, I don't see the Framber reunion with how things ended. He very well could go back to Houston. If I'm Kyle Tucker, though, and you want to win, going to the Dodgers, that's pretty damn fun. That's a good team, and everyone would hate it.
Listen.
He is a East Coast guy, though, so there could be the appeal there. He's going to have to figure out what he wants. What does he value? Because my guess is, Zach, there's going to be some pretty similar deals for who wants him. And I think he's going to get the choice of where he wants to pick and choose. If I were to guess, I would say there's probably going to be 6 teams at least that are like legitimate. Hey, we want you. And then maybe 3 of those might get outbid, but none of them would be out. If he truly wants to be at a place, he's going to pick where he wants to go. So, and I hate for Orioles fans, he's going to have to be very convinced to come to Baltimore, just like a lot of people. And that's the part that people hate with this conversation. I love Baltimore. We're from this area. We know what it brings. But if you're not from here, why do you want to be here? And that's a big thing. It's a huge thing that's going to go into it. If Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers, though, they
listen. We want to talk about the annoying part about the Dodgers and like why it's so annoying. That conversation there was so annoying because Morosi goes, well, the Dodgers need, some defensive help. So, go send $400 million to Kyle Tucker, who's also a premier bat in this league. It's like they need a little defensive help in the outfield. We'll casually just go and grab the top free agent outfielder. Let's not get a depth guy. Let's just go grab the $400 million man. But what a fleece the trade for the Astros would be if he ended up back there. I mean, that would be unbelievable. Getting Cam Smith and then getting Kyle Tucker right back would be an absolute. It would make what the Orioles did to the Cubs look, not as impressive. A few levels above that. But I think we're going to see the usual suitors. It's going to be the New York Yankees. It's going to be the Chicago Cubs. I think it's going to be the Giants, and it's going to be the Dodgers. I think those are the 4 teams that's going to come down to. If I had to pick at the moment, I think it's probably leaning Dodgers. If the Dodgers want this to happen, the Dodgers are going to make it happen. They can pay to make it happen. I'm intrigued. I don't think the Mets would be in on him. I'm trying to think, especially after Soto. I don't know if that's where they're, I think they're kind of focused on maybe trying to get Edwin and Pete back is probably what they're higher on their priority list than grabbing Tucker, but maybe they get involved too. You kind of just assume all major markets. I'm sure the Astros will kick the tires. I just don't know, Ryan, how many times have we talked about it when a team trades you because, they traded Tucker because they didn't think they were going to be able to sign him. So I don't know if suddenly after one off season that's changed enough to where they're like, never mind, we're all in on Tucker.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the Stros, man. Kyle Tucker wasn't a college guy, by the way. His brother Preston is older, went to Florida. The ties down there, down in the Southeast, or I guess it's still the
Florida though.
What?
I think he was committed to Florida.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But what I'm saying is, being from down south there, for Kyle, I mean, look, I think he is more of an East Coast guy than a West Coast if I were to put my finger on it, but at the same time, it's off seasons. You go back there and live whenever you want. So that would be the one thing working against him going to LA. And so Kyle's going to be, again, one of the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of players that are going to go, hey, I'm good. I'm going to get a lot of money. I'm the Kevin Oestreicher of the MLB free agency, right?
Some might say.
Yeah, some might say that he's going to choose. Just like Corbin Burns, just like Max Fried, you're going to choose, and you can get a good contract and be where you want to go. But what do you maximize and prioritize in your career? The one thing, though, I will say to close out with the Cubs and that whole situation, I am trying to understand what the Cubs are trying to do, because you let Shota walk, couldn't come to an agreement on that deal. You say you could re-sign him. Kyle Tucker was going to test free agency, but what are you going to do? Because you have a team that you still are expected to compete in the Central, and you're the Cubs. Like, people expect the Cubs to be solid. They expect them to contend. But right now, I have no idea of what the landscape's going to be, because they also need pitching and they also need offense. So time will tell, Kev. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. This is the fun part as we continue to have these conversations. We're going to continue to dive into different angles. We'll have more and more guests on. I even thought about guys going to bringing back some Oriole legends. Like, I got to talk to him. He doesn't know it yet, but Jahmai Jones, I want to get Jahmai on. He is awesome.
We gotta ask. I would just love to ask him if he knows how legendary he is on Orioles Twitter. Every day. I just remember talking about the dark days of Orioles baseball when, no offense to Jemai, but it wasn't, oh, where's Adley? Where's Gunner? Where's Jackson Holiday? The entire internet was like, why isn't Jemai Jones up here? It's like this unranked prospect.
Man, all those like top guy, like I remember like the Tim Beckham days. That Tim Beckham, that start he had, second coming of the greatest baseball players we've ever seen.
9 for 9 to start his Orioles career.
And then a lot of people look, I know the way things kind of went with Mateo towards the end, and I know the option and he's whatever, but a lot of people were excited about Jorge for a while. So
Keon
a lot of people like him.
First at bat, hit a 480-foot homer. I was like, oh, we're back. Didn't do much after that, but that was fun.
Yeah, we can go back. I mean, Zach and I played this game on Kevin and Zach React for like 30 minutes one show, where it was Chris Parmalee and
was that a 3?
I thought it was a 3. Wasn't it a 3?
Against the Phillies.
3 homer game
against the Phillies. He had a 3 homer. Now I gotta look up.
I'm pretty sure it was 3.
Oh my gosh, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Oh, well, we can say it was 3.
No, it was a 3. It wasn't against it was a 3 homer game, but who?
No, sugar.
Did he have multiple 3 homer games?
Who are we talking about?
No,
right
wait.
now?
Chris Parmalee had multiple.
Chris Parmalee.
Oh, yeah. So, who did he hit? It was versus Cleveland.
They had a lot of those top, like Richie Martin was a top guy for the A's for a while, or maybe not a while, but he was a top guy that was around for. Richie Martin was, solid for them for a little bit. Was a
glove.
Richie Martin, he was a great teammate too.
Yeah, Keon Broxton, Oriole legend.
Yeah. Good times here, guys. Good times. Well, I think we hit all the quota of topics, right? We did it.
Yeah, I think we did it.
I had one other poll out right now, and it was 18 minutes ago. And I asked our group, do you like when it gets dark before 5 p.m.? And what I mean by that, the sun sets at 4:40, and you go, yeah, hey, where did the day go? So the answer is yeah, absolutely. I love when it gets pitch black. Earlier, I wake up and it's dark. It's great. Or do you hate it? And you're like, you know what? I can't wait for it to be, what is it? The longest day of the year, June 21st, and it's light until 9 p.m. Where do you guys stand on this?
Farmers are selfish.
Wait. You cut out for me at the end. What was the question?
Do you like when it gets dark before 5 p.m.?
No.
Kevin, do you see the sunlight much this time?
Because I don't like it being light when I go to bed. So
but wait. So you see more sunlight in the before you go to bed than do you get 2 hours of sunlight this time of year?
Yeah, I do. I'm not waking up at 6 p.m.
Yeah, but if you wake up at 2 and it goes down at 4.
No, man, I'm usually waking up at anywhere from 11 to 1 now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, since I've been sick, it's been, or early on in that sickness, I was sleeping. I think I told both you guys, I was sleeping from I was doing my work. So literally 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. I was just out. I was so sick.
Kevin, I just keep thinking, I'm laughing.
I'm holding in a cough. I've been holding in a cough for 10 minutes.
I'm so proud of you. I'm just thinking about there being with your old schedule of you were going to bed at 8 a.m. and then waking up at 4 or 5.
Yeah,
you were probably
then,
you were averaging an hour of sunlight a day.
Yeah, then I mean, my old schedule, I was sleeping from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'd get no sunlight. I mean, I'd get more sunlight before I went to bed than I would when I woke up. The sun would be down. That was years and years ago. Talking I'm 40 years old, but
I was gonna say.
But no, yes, I like it to be dark when I go to bed, and I like it to be light for as long as possible in the day. Because it's nice, 6, 7 p.m., get a little sunset in. 4 p.m. just seems like, people have, what I actually have learned recently is that people have dinner at very different times. Like there is a very wide range of time people eat dinner.
That's just a new.
Well, I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know that it was such a wide range. Like I know some people and families will eat at literally like 4 p.m. dinners. Other families will eat like 9 or 9:30 p.m. dinners. And I was like, that's a much wider range of time. I was in that like 5 to 8, 6 to 8.
Yeah, I'm like 6, 7 is usually when I.
Yeah. But I know some people do it earlier and some people do it like later. And I thought it was a pretty straightforward timeline, but I guess it's a lot longer than I thought. So that's why.
Yeah, just like, the timeline of going to sleep is very similar.
Well,
everyone goes to bed at 4 to 6 a.m. That's the norm.
I try to be unique. I try to bring something to the table.
Well, to answer the end of my poll question here, I don't like when it gets dark early, okay? Because I still have this feeling of when it's light out and it's sunny, that just the energy you can get, even if it's 20 degrees outside. And I still remember going to play basketball in high school, and I'd go in to get changed at the locker room. We'd go into the facility, and it is sunny. It's beautiful, even though it's cold. And then certain days we would do a walkthrough practice before a game, and we'd be done at like 4:30 sometimes or 4:45. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to change, get outside, pitch black. Like, because that's what it would be after every practice. It would go in with beautiful sunlight, come back out, and like welcome to the darkness. And I feel like that's where, when it's dark earlier and the sun goes down before 5 p.m., that's where madness starts to happen, Kevin. It's like, this is where the movies, and you got to pick a choice, like the horror movies. That's what I felt like when I'd walk out of the gym and I'm walking down to my car, and you just hear all the noises. It's cold. It's a little terrifying.
Yeah, the vampires coming out, the sunlight. That's vampires, right? Vampires are the ones that can't be in sunlight.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So just had to fact check myself. So that's the see, you got the vampires. This right now is vampire's dream right here. So
if you're a vampire, you would like when the sun goes down earlier.
Well, if I was, but I'm not.
Sun goes down.
That's
we'll be grooving when the sun.
I do want to give a shout out to Zach. I feel like my movie and music knowledge has, it's gotten a little better since joining the team here. I feel like Zach has really upped his game in terms of
I thought you were about
music knowledge.
Kevin, I don't know if you saw my face. I was so prepared for you to be like, Zach hasn't gotten better at all. I was like,
I genuinely like you now start things that Ryan sings along to. Like, you don't even have to be asked anymore. Like, you just got to do it yourself. Like, I'm giving you credit.
Kevin.
I'm giving you
range.
He did well today on some movie references too. You guys have a lot of work that's left to be done, and there's a lot that needs to be achieved, but it's little baby steps here on the show. And I'm proud of you guys for that. Well, and I'm proud of all of you guys if you still hung in with us when we got off the chat and the banter and the hoopla. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live at 5 here on YouTube, X, and Facebook, but you can listen on Spotify and Apple and wherever you get your podcast. We're going to have more of the Rolodex of our guests as we continue on here, working on that diligently. We'll have a wild Nick Moore join us in the future, and we're going to have a lot more baseball guests to talk about the MLB hot stove as we continue on in this process. Hot stove's just turning on, and it's really just on a slight simmer, but slowly that burn is going to get brighter and brighter, and it's going to intensify until we see these moves left and right. And sure enough, there'll be the winter meetings, and sure enough, before you know it, spring training will be here, and that is about crazy thing, guys. That is less than 3 months away until teams are going to start to have people showing up. So that's all I got. Kevin, Zach, any last words?
Molly's bet.
What do you got?
Oh gosh, we got so sidetracked. How could I forget?
Better be Brees Hall.
Well, we got to take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Yeah. West Virginia. Good.
Beautiful. I'm looking at the graphic now. I realize I did not specify on it what I'm taking really much, or I forgot a word at the end.
You just put someone's face on there?
No. I put over the yardage, and then I didn't put what it was supposed to be. But listen, it might be a game. It might be a doozy tonight. I'm sticking with the rookie running back from the Patriots. We are going Trevion Henderson over 70.5 rushing yards. I realize I just put over 70.5. That is rushing yards. Listen, we just hand the ball off. Like, this is simple. The Jets defense already was not good against stopping the run. They get rid of Quinnen Williams. It just keeps getting worse. It is a short week. Trevion Henderson has proven over the past few games that if you just give the kid the ball, he'll make something happen. Loved him looking back at the coaching staff mid-run last week to see if it was okay for him to score or not. That's what we're looking for. Reward him for being a team player. Hand him the rock and let's just get out of here. Easy.
There it is. You would think 2 long runs maybe will give a guy some more leeway. I guess we're going to find out here soon.
You would think.
Not that Zach doesn't have him on his dynasty team in the league I'm in with him. Nothing like that going on here. Don't worry.
Kevin, I'm sorry. I just, maybe I just have Kevin,
Jerry McLaurin's still available for trade for you. He's sitting there waiting for you. He's had a great year. I don't know if you know.
Also, Kevin, in that league, maybe what could have been the most catastrophic thing would have had, like, if I wouldn't have gotten Emeka Ibuka the next round after I went to pick
Tyreek Hill.
Ryan, you know the story. If I accidentally hit, not paying attention, Tyreek Hill instead of Ibuka, I would be sick to my stomach watching Ibuka go off. But my young core of JSN, Ibuka, Trevion Henderson, and Brock Bowers, we're running things, Kevin.
I have a young core too. Cooper Kupp has really come through for me this season.
He is. So. He's the ageless wonder. Age is just a number here. And this will put an end to, I think it's like episode 91 of season 2 of the Ryan Ripken Show. How about that? Hey, how you doing?
I didn't know we were doing that.
Yeah, I didn't know we were counting.
I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't know we kept track.
I don't know if it's the accurate number, but that's the number I'm at on the Spotify. It says episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to cue the music. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great singing rest of Thursday. We'll be live at 5 again. So come join us on Friday for another edition of the Ryan Ripken Show.